We all know that Concord sucks, which makes sense because the people who made it obviously suck. So I'd rather discuss why and how Concord's demise starts a new era where mass gamers are no longer accepting the current status quo of games and are simply walking away.
12 days later.
Hey, it's me, Valley B, and I'm moving up in the world, so like and subscribe. Just recently, Sony discontinued its hero shooter live service game Concord just after 2 weeks of release. More specifically, Concord's game director, Ryan Ellis, stated via PlayStation blog, "While many qualities of the experience resonated with players, we also recognize that other aspects of the games and our initial launch didn't land the way we intended. Therefore, at this time, we have decided to take the game offline beginning September 6, 2024, and explore options, including those that'll better reach our players."
My God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the
Everybody
procedure,
stay
everyone?
calm.
What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
This is unfortunate news from a corporate standpoint because I can promise you it is not the failed decision makers who will be most affected. Unfortunately, it will fall on the honest workers. Remember, we live in an automotive bailout, Wall Street bailout, Bobby Kotick bailout kind of world. My sympathy is for the devs and their families who will most likely be affected in the months to come.
Objection!
However, from a gamer enthusiast's perspective who is tired of these mundane, monetizing, message-driven mediocrities, it is pleasing that these games are getting yeeted back to hell where they belong. Respectfully. The interesting aspect of this is that Concord is not just being rejected as a game, but it's being rejected as the status quo for games. A status quo that's been dictated to us by mainstream corporate entities. IGN Kotaku. These corporate entities have been using this deep form of propaganda to influence the Western gaming standard, shifting priority from entertainment to woke-attainment without attainment. For example, some of the past games we fell in love with contained some form of biased political messaging, inclusion or acceptance, some of which we would call today's woke agenda.
I thought I felt something between us.
But those messages were unique and woven into an engaging story, relatable themes, and gameplay in a package that appealed and catered to all gamers, regardless of backgrounds. However, in the last few years, it seems that woke messaging, whether related to inclusivity, sexuality, body positivity, and/or hyperfeminism, has taken more precedent in how video games are made, and unfortunately has trumped its original purpose of entertainment value. With all that said, now enter Concord, being developed with heavy emphasis on acceptance and inclusion. Too bad it was not pleasant to look at nor play. Furthermore, this current downward trend does not look like it's stopping, as we are seeing other games fall into the same exact trap, such as Outlaws, which is also suffering from sales. And not to mention the upcoming Assassin's Creed Shadows that has just been delayed, followed by the woke controversy surrounding it. And oh Lord Jesus, it's an Osborne! Believe it or not, this isn't a rant saying woke game means bad game. Instead, this is a bad game means bad game rant. And unfortunately, it seems that there's a strong correlation between bad games and over woke games. What is the average gamer's perspective in all of this? Average gamers are complicated in the fact that we're not complicated. If the game is good, there will be a subset of group of gamers ready to play. How many times have Fortnite been branded silly or even worse, gay by one group of gamers, only to be accepted by a different core group of gamers? How about NBA 2K making its players buy its full game $70 before monetizing additional skill points and clothing articles that you can't find at Ross Not to mention, you'll still have to grind, but no, nobody cares because it's good. Unlike Concord. Therefore, when it comes to the games we like to play, there's no marketing in the world that could get us to play a game we deem unpleasant.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this. Look at this. Somebody come.
You see, gamers have something called eyes, and it is used to draw conclusions on whether a game is worth the attention. More on that later. These poor sales for AAA games are a consistent new phenomenon, and if you'll indulge me for a second, I'd like to analyze a few reasons why. Number one, corporate gaming media entities such as IGN and Kotaku are irrelevant and no longer considered part of the gamer's zeitgeist due to their unknown bias in favor of woke culture rather than spotlighting great video games. These companies no longer have the influence of gaming enthusiasts such as myself like they did decades ago. What we have instead is a gamer's common thinking pattern that goes something like this. IGN gave Concord a 7. Let me see what my favorite YouTuber that I can personally relate to thinks on this. I'm still not sure. Let me see my favorite streamer play the game I'm considering. The bottom line here is that gaming enthusiasts have traded in corporate entities who are known to have biased agendas in favor of trustworthy individuals on YouTube platforms. Number 2, big gaming corporations are fumbling. Between the lack of creativity in AAA games, poor monetizing strategy, and forcing DEI over entertainment, the developers of this gen have created the biggest skepticism among gamers within the last few years. Gamers are now seeing the trend of heavy messaging and low entertainment value. Because of this trend, gamers are quickly to raise the woke flag as soon as they see anything remotely gay or even unattractive individuals. Number 3, smaller gaming corporations picking up the ball. What does Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate 3, Space Marine 2, Wukong, Hogwarts Legacy have in common? All of these bangers came from smaller studios that have literally picked up the ball where the big companies dropped it. The irony is that some of these games I just mentioned has a little Skittles sprinkled into it. But the point is, it makes sense in the context of the story or the identity of the character. So thus, it's not considered woke. My simple evidence is that all of these games are selling like hotcakes, and the fact is, the smaller studios have become the more reliable studios. Number 4, we're talking about a poor economy. A lot of us are affected financially, so we make our games count. Consumers tend to do their due diligence more when it comes to finding out if the game is a good fit. We don't have the luxury of buying a lot of games, let alone bad ones. Finally, as an all-culminating point, gamers are finally voting with their wallets. This time around, gamers have learned to avoid crappy games and move on to the good ones. Or the old ones. Shout out to my retro guys, we have observed the current landscape of gaming and are now choosing apathy. If your games suck, we don't care what happens to you professionally. Screw your overbearing woke message, your agenda, your monetizing strategy, your lack of sales, your company layoffs. All we care about is if your game is good. Talking about the story, the gameplay loop, and a lot of times the cool factor. Overall, the focus on wokeness seems to bring out the worst in gaming, and Concord will forever be known as the catalyst for this sentiment. Personally, it's unfortunate that DI consultants such as Sweet Baby Inc. aggressively advocate for the LGBT agenda in the most intrusive ways, which gets in the way of making quality video games. To illustrate my point further, think of gamers like a large group of friends ordering pizza. Some want cheese, some wants pepperoni, some wants anchovies. and one guy decides they want everyone to lather up in baby oil. After kicking Diddy out the friend group, we have all the orders, we round up everything, and we tell Sebi here to order the pizza. Sebi then calls up the pizza shop and proceeds to say, I will order 5 boxes of Hawaiian pizza, and ignores everyone else's request. Sebi now wonders why everyone gets mad and leaves the party. To the corporations making these type of games and are determining this new status quo, just want to let you know that there's room for representation in gaming while meeting everyone else's gaming needs. Don't make a game go full gay and wonder why straight, hetero, cisgendered individuals are not interested. We say sell it to your audience because apparently we're not it. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching my video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. See you in the next video.